Voting in Congress, Part 2. You be the representative. Apply the 4 factors of voting in Congress to 3 bills. Bill A. Stop mail deliveries on Saturday. Factor number 1. Does Congress have the power to stop Saturday mail delivery? Does Congress have the power to establish post offices? Yes or no? Yes, it does. That is an expressed power in the Constitution. Is deciding what day's mail will be delivered part of establishing a post office? Probably or probably not. Again, that is probably true. That is an implied power. If you have the ability to make a post office, you should probably be able to run a post office. Therefore, Congress has the power to stop Saturday mail delivery. Congress does not have the power to stop Saturday mail delivery. Of course, they are going to have the power. It's an expressed power and an implied power, and that's what you need to write down on your paper. Factor number 2. In your opinion, should Saturday mail delivery end? Wait, there are a few things you should know before you make up your mind. The U.S. Postal Service pays for itself with the money it brings in from its services. However, the Postal Service is losing a lot of money because people are sending fewer letters. Instead of using the mail, people are texting and sending email and paying their bills online. In 2009, the Postal Service lost $38 billion. Stopping delivery on Saturdays would save the Postal Service $3 billion. In your opinion, should Saturday mail delivery end? Is it worth it? Should you consider other factors besides how much money it costs? Decide what you think and mark your answer on your paper. Don't forget to explain your choice. Factor number 3. Would your political party support ending Saturday delivery? Look at the checklist of values on your handout. Which value most matches the purpose of this bill? Cost saving. That means the Republican Party would be most likely to support this bill. Factor number 4. Would your voters support ending Saturday mail delivery? Wait, stop. There are a few things you should know before you make up your mind. In 1957, Congress passed a law to stop Saturday mail. It lasted one Saturday. Voters were so angry that Congress passed a bill to bring back Saturday delivery. Did they have email in 1957? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Do you think that would make a difference to voters today? For this activity, let's pretend the state or district you represent has more older voters than younger voters. Older voters are more likely to still use the Postal Service. Younger voters are more likely to use email. So, do you think your voters would support this bill? Mark your papers. Time to vote. You've looked at all 4 factors. Now you must weigh all and decide whether to vote yay or nay. Mark your papers. Bill B. Increase the minimum wage from $7.25 an hour to $7.50 per hour. Factor number 1. Does Congress have the power to raise the minimum wage? What is the minimum wage? It's the smallest amount anyone has ever earned, or is it the lowest hourly rate an employer is allowed to pay an employee? It is B. It's the lowest hourly rate an employer is allowed to pay an employee. Look at the list of powers Congress has. Does it say Congress can set people's wages? Yes or no? No, it really doesn't say that. What power lets Congress do something that's not on the list if it relates to something that is on the list? Congress is allowed to make any laws necessary and proper for laws on the list. Look at the list again. Is there a power that might relate to the money people earn at their jobs? Here's a hint. It's one of these 3 powers. Establish post offices, pass laws about businesses that happen across state lines, or declare war. It's going to be passing laws about businesses that happen across state lines. Businesses are the only ones that pay people a wage, so this power is related to a bill about the minimum wage. There is a national minimum wage, but many states also have a state minimum wage. Because federal laws are superior to state laws, states cannot set a minimum wage that is lower than the federal minimum wage. So does Congress have the power to raise the minimum wage? Mark your papers. Factor number 2. In your opinion, should Congress raise the minimum wage to $7.50 per hour? Mark your papers. Factor number 3. Would your political party support raising the minimum wage? Look at the checklist of values on your handout. Which value most matches the purpose of this bill? Generosity. That means the Democratic Party would likely support this bill. Would your voters support raising the minimum wage? Wait, there's some important information that will help you decide. Some states have their own minimum wage that is higher than the national minimum wage. Some do not. Check out the minimum wage laws in your state. If we look at this map, we can see whether or not the state's minimum wage law is higher if it is green, lower if it is red, or equal to if it is blue. In states that are yellow, there is no state minimum wage. So for us in Pennsylvania, we have a minimum wage that is equal to the national minimum wage. So our current minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. Would your voters support raising the minimum wage? Mark your papers. Time to vote. You've looked at all 4 factors. Now you must weigh them all and decide whether to vote yay or nay. Mark your paper. Bill C. The government will give titles of nobility to some citizens. Factor number 1. Does Congress have the power to grant titles of nobility? Is granting titles of nobility on the list of Congress's powers? Yes? No? Absolutely not. And it absolutely is not a power that Congress has. It's actually something they're specifically told not to do. The Constitution specifically says that no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States. So, mark your papers. Does Congress have the power to grant titles of nobility? Factor number 2. In your opinion, should Congress grant titles of nobility? Mark your papers. Factor number 3. Would your political party support granting titles of nobility? Look at the checklist of values on the handout. Do any of the values match the purpose of this bill? No. Neither party would support this bill. It's just plain un-American. Would your voters support granting titles of nobility? Since not everyone would get a special title, do you think most voters would support this? Mark your papers.